Hi, and welcome to Romance Writers Therapy. We're checking in for week 3 of Nano. Or is it? Yeah, 3.
Yeah. I'm Marty V.
I can't... You're Marty
And that's
V.
Kate Pryor.
And I'm Kate. Yes. God. One of these days I'll be able to hold all the pieces of
our last episode intro was so good. It was perfection. We nailed it that one time. We can do it again, but it's okay. Remember that one time where we had a perfect intro? We just both went.
One perfect
We
time.
went silent afterwards like we were remembering. So
yeah, just fondly
recalling. So
yeah, so
how are you doing with the whole nano of it all?
Oh, I'm back on my other bullshit.
I'm totally on my bullshit. Did I tell you I had to call Katarina Stone to talk out my plot issue with Never Has She Ever?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did that. Because, really good. And ultimately, she was like, hey, they're both great, viable options. But it sounds like you lean more in this direction, so that's the direction you should go, sort of thing. So, yeah. That's it.
Well, so last I remember, you were actually telling me that you were abandoning your
reality show.
Your reality show Nano project.
I did that. Listener, look. I hope you did not abandon your project. I hope you are still like chugging away at it. But in writing it, I was like, this is off-brand and there's elements to it that I just don't really want to write. And I actually feel inspired towards Never Has She Ever for the first time in a while. So I just started writing that instead because it is actually checking boxes for me. So yeah, I stopped writing the reality show. I have like 5,000 words there. We'll see if it ever does anything. But right now it just doesn't seem like... I just don't want to put my time there. It was exciting when I started it, and then it very quickly lost its excitement.
I mean, sometimes that's how a project goes. Like, you run as far as you can with it, and then you run out of steam, and you're like, all right, that was fun. You get to sleep for a while. It was now. Like I will come
it was
back.
More fun in like the thought of it. Like, wouldn't it be cool if this exists? And then actually executing it was like, this is actually not aligning with my interests. Would I rather like sort of thing.
Read this than write it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So, okay, tell me about your bullshit.
My bullshit is that I just waffle. I waffle back and forth between two projects so much. You know, I was like, all right. Well, I told you that, like, I was having a moment where I just did not want to edit the podcast. And I was like, I'm procrastinating on editing the podcast so hard that I'm actually going to go work on my Nano, which I've pretty much not touched since day one. And then I rearranged a few paragraphs, and then I was like, that's it. That's enough. I don't know how to write the part that I want to write, which is actually really dumb because the part that I want to write is just, she runs into him doing, like, she's digging up plants she's not supposed to, and she kind of bumps into him in the dark, and he's like, excuse me, what are you doing here? This is private property. And she's like, ah, and she runs off and she drops her shit. That's it. And I'm having such a hard time with this because I feel like there should be, I don't know, something a little bit better about that scene.
Yeah, it does, because like that's essentially the hard time I'm having right now with Never Has She Ever, where I mean, I'm cool with them having awkward conversation that's essentially like I don't know, small talky, but I'm also like, am I spending too much time talking about sandwiches? You know?
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah, because you only have like 1,000, 2,000 words per thing, and it's like,
well, I'm not doing the serial release, but like, you know, still it's chapter 2. You know? Like,
yeah. I know, it's like you could give it a break, but it also...
Well, and like, if it's funny that they're talking about sandwiches, then like I'm fine. Right? Like if the reader is like, oh my god, they're so like, this is like cringy funny, right? Then I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But if it's like, why are we just talking about sandwiches? You guys are being so unhot right now. Then I don't want that, right?
Yeah. That's always a fear whenever I'm writing, like,
right?
banter.
Well, typically when I'm writing banter, like I feel very good about it. But like, this is definitely like, no one's bringing their heat when they're talking about sandwiches, right? Like, but you know, I don't know. We'll see. And also like I still wrote it pretty fast. And so I think I can make it better by just adding some of his perspective of being like, oh my god, I need to change the subject. You know what I mean? Like him just kind of being like, why am I still on this subject sort of thing. And then bringing in like more elements of like his attraction, and then I think it'll work just fine. So I think ultimately like I might take like one volley out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then
one back and forth exchange.
Yeah. And then beef it up a little bit with some more monologue and like atmosphere, because it's definitely very white room right now. But okay, so you're talking about needing to add another element to handle with Claire, which that's not its name anymore, right?
That's not its name anymore. I'm tentative on doing a hard rename on, you know, like I have a title in mind, but I don't want to.
I think you told me it, and I can't remember it now.
Yet. Well, so my thing is, and this is completely irrational. There are so few, like, so there's so many witchy romance books out there right now, you know, and I think that was kind of why I was putting off the Handle with Claire rewrite, because I was convincing myself that no one was going to want to read a witchy romance by the time I got it published. Okay. Whether that was on a traditional timeline or a self-pub timeline, that just whatever I did, it was going to be too late. And so I should just wait another 10 years on it. Okay. Not that it's been around for 10 years, but like, you know, I see what you're saying. Like, it might be that long. Yeah. This might ferment a while. And I don't like, it saddened me that I was gonna have to wait on it, but you know, that's what I had convinced myself. But you know, then like a year went by and I was like, actually there's still a lot of witchy titles. I could probably get it out in a year.
Well, and then also if you get it out and you know, people aren't looking for witchy anymore, it might not get the reception you want, but also this trend is going to come back around, and now you have this book that you can start pushing again, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of like, well, the thing is, I do want to release it when it's on trend.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I feel like that's going to be its biggest thing. But that, like, you know, it was am I going to have to wait for the trend to come back kind of feel. That's not the paranoia. I'm sorry. That's just kind of like another thought I have about this. The paranoia is because there are so many witchy books out right now. We're seeing a bit of title overlap. And I feel like the title I have is kind of good and a little bit unique. And so I was like, I'm gonna keep this under wraps. And hope no one else comes up with it. I'm sure someone will.
I really feel like you told me it, and my brain is just hardcore.
I did, and then I cut it out of the podcast.
Oh, you did? You told me on the pod?
And then I cut it out.
Okay, because I remember when I see things a lot better than when I hear things.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can't believe I don't remember this right now.
I mean, I'll tell you again. Of course. I'll just cut it out again.
We can just wait until we're not recording too if you want.
And yeah, so, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm waffling, and I kind of did a little bit of work on
Mhm.
that, and then I was like, okay, actually I've hit another tiny block, and I would use that as an excuse to run away. I'll come back to this later.
Yeah, I feel like I'm wondering, like, did I just hit a block with the reality show and then just run away from it? Or
because it's not hard to do that, you know?
Like, I also was like, I just don't think this is like exciting work. And I think that that's part of my problem with writing as fast as I can, is that like it's actually in the like really like pausing and thinking and like letting myself really like saturate in the moment that I get,
and
that
like,
I feel like I do a good job. And so I don't know, it's hard.
So I know we kind of touched on this, I think, last episode, just the barest amount. The idea of sitting around and waiting for inspiration is something I'm, in theory, very much against. Because
in practice, it's great.
I think in practice, it's fantastic.
It's amazing.
I'm all
I love
about
it.
No, like, because in I think it kind of becomes about what you're using it as. It's like, oh, if I'm a writer but I'm sitting around and I think you can really procrastinate in the name of inspiration, and that I think is bad. And it's very important that you know yourself enough to not like to see when you're doing that. But at the same time, like, creativity isn't a tap, and you can't just turn it on when you want to, like, and it's, you know, I kind of run into that issue that it's like, I need to be writing now, I need to be doing the Nanowrimo thing, but it's like I don't have enough ideas in this box to work from.
Yeah. We should probably jump onto a subject we're actually not going to cut.
Yeah, okay. So my thing is that, like, with this book, that I have like a handful of ideas that have kind of gelled together. I was trying to talk about like inspiration and like why it's not a bad thing, but at the same time it's a necessary thing, because and like so much of it sometimes happens just because I happen to watch a TikTok and I think that's really funny, like that's a good joke. I could extrapolate a whole plot off of that joke. You know?
Absolutely. There was that like that weird book that Rebecca's sister and her boyfriend found that was like, you know, the 70s, written in like the 70s on how to like get a man, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
And like that instantly had a plot in my head. Yeah, no. I mean, inspiration comes all over the place.
Yeah, and sometimes like you sit here kind of waiting for, you know, like you're trying to make things work. And literally the reason I'm writing the new prologue for Handle with Claire is because I drove by two different abandoned kind of shops / lots that I was having some feelings about, because it's like, that place is such a, you know, hallmark. I can't believe that it's abandoned and crumbling now. And then I passed by another one that was abandoned and crumbling, and I was like, God, that's a beautiful bush. I wonder if my mom would want me to dig that up for her.
You are so cute.
And then I was like, she would never want me to dig something up, but Claire
would.
would.
But Claire totally would. I love Claire, that.
Like, I was like it was such a moment of like, you know, like it's against her personality, but like she might if the circumstances were right, and like,
yeah, it's better than letting everything go to rot.
Yeah, and especially if it's like a really gorgeous plant that just, you know, maybe she's having a lot of trouble getting the plant herself, and like she's just like, well, I can't get it from the garden center. What if I just dug it up? No one would notice it missing. And then I was like, I have to write this. And I messaged you about it, and you were like, yeah, it's cool. And sometimes like inspiration hits, and you need to like check it with someone and be like, is this am I going off the deep end, or is this actually funny? And you know,
and then sometimes like things like spark for you but don't spark for other people, right? Yeah, because I've definitely had that in the other way around, where I was like, I was looking for more excitement on that. But
Mm.
But like now that you've told me all the details, I'm like, that is fucking brilliant. Like that is so cute and I love it.
Yeah, and so like that's why I was all like, yes, I need to work on that now. But then like today, I think I saw something like, it was a Reddit post that it was. So Reddit has this like subreddit called 2 Sentence Horror Story or something like that, and someone wrote something like, "It's 2 a.m. I live alone, but I hear someone doing my dishes."
That's horrifying.
I know, some of them are so spooky. It's just like, oh, not sleeping.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so scary.
I know, like it really stuck with me, and I was like, but how could that be funny? Like, what if Gwen takes home work with her by accident, and like she's being haunted by?
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
This problem, like the ghost.
Okay,
and it's like now he's in her kitchen.
But it reminds me of that Boo Mates that Franity on TikTok does, right? Which is very much comedy, but there are moments, like, there have been, like, fun, jumpy moments with that, like, skit. And, like, I could very much see her making, like, being alone in your house, hearing someone doing your dishes, being scared, going around the corner, and, like, God damn it, Mildred. You know what I mean? Like, that, like...
Yeah.
It turns out it's your ghost roommate. You know what I mean? Like it could be made into something like fun, like, that way.
But it could also be terrifying.
Be horrifying.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like a fear that it's like there's just someone in your house in like not even like a menacing way, just kind of a benign way.
Oh my god.
Well, and like that is my number one fear. Okay, let me tell you about the Spider-Man of
Oh Jesus. Okay. Tell me about the Spider-Man.
I think I'm definitely Oh no, actually I don't. I'm going to get it all wrong, but like the short of it was this guy was friends with this guy, and then like his friend died, and then I guess he was mentally ill of some kind, and he didn't know how to react to his friend dying. So he crawled into the guy's attic, and then he lived there and kind of watched the wife live in the house. His friend's wife lived in the house for like the next 20 years, and he just kind of lived in the crawl space of her attic for a while.
Didn't he kill her?
I do think he killed her at some point, or like he scared her, or you know, like something happened. Like it happened. Like it didn't. It's definitely a horror story.
Yeah.
But it's also like my biggest fear now.
Yeah. There's no way. My house is too small. Like, there's no way someone's living in my house, you know?
I know, and it's like, that's why I want a tiny, like, a nice small blaze that, like, no one could fit in this wall. No one could Bruno their way in here. Like, I watched that Disney movie, and I was like, I'm sorry, this is a deep-seated fear of mine. He's cool and all, but what is he doing in the fucking walls?
What movie?
Encanto.
Oh, I love Encanto. But
I do too, but it's also like, why would you do that?
I did think about you when he was living in the wall.
You're like, oh, Kate could not watch this.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. I'm sorry. Listener, I'm sorry. I am, like, very low energy today.
I think you're doing great.
Okay, thanks. I don't know. I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed during that movie.
I'm sure. No, like, it was a gorgeous movie.
Oh,
to be sure.
And Jude, like, there was a point where Jude was like, "Mom, are you okay?" Like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, oh, it's so many relatable feelings. Like, such a good movie. Okay, so do you know how you're moving forward? Like, if we're trying to, like, even pretend that we're still doing Nano, how are you moving forward in your story or in your project?
I feel like, see, I'm kind of at a crossroads because it's like I could continue to waffle back and forth between these two things because last week I said I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do the other project, and then I did not do the other project at all.
Okay, then, but do you feel like you're, because like with me switching gears and going to the other book, I feel like I am still happy with that choice because I am still being more productive than I would normally be, even with the exception of like yesterday and today not getting the writing done, but I'm still being more productive than I would normally be, not by a huge margin, but it is happening. So I still feel like I'm doing a good job with Nano.
I'm not being productive. I have not been productive with anything all month. And
are you okay with that? Like, is that just kind of where you're at right now and that's okay?
I mean, it's kind of like a mix between there's been kind of a lot going on. I've been putting off some obligations that I shouldn't have been putting off. But, you know,
also relatable.
had to catch up on those, and then there's just a lot of things that are taking up my time right now, and I'm just like, maybe I shouldn't have said I was gonna do Nano because that wasn't smart of me.
I don't know. Do you feel like you need to just let it go in order to not feel like resentment or shame around this?
I mean, I don't have a lot of feelings towards it right now. I do feel a little bit bad that I'm not getting things done. I don't really have much of a plan, and I don't really know what my plan is going to be, but at the same time, like, it's not like I'm sitting around doing nothing but, like, playing Minecraft. I have been doing other things, so I don't feel bad about not being productive on that front. But, you know, like a general malaise of should have been doing that a little bit. At the same time, though, like, I had that little wolf story I was gonna work on, and I'm like, well, maybe I have enough thoughts in that basket that I could continue to work on it. I don't know. I'm in, like, a spot of, like, I want to write with, like, reckless abandon. Because I very much enjoy doing that, although we see where that leads.
But okay, go ahead.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. I've been feeling pressure to write things good and do things well, and sometimes like I feel like that's one of those things that really drags you down. You know, can really stop you before you start.
I just was listening to the Rebel Author podcast, and last week she had someone on there that was talking about like the episodes like writing bravely or something like that, or writing without fear, something along those lines. Yeah. And one of the comments was like, I don't know how a writer could like create something the way it's supposed to be if they're thinking about how it's going to be received. And I was like, that's a very good point. But at the same right, like there are times where I don't know, like I can just really like feel that like this is in my pocket. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like,
but like is that because I'm lit up from it?
I mean, I feel like that has to be the answer, right? Like this thing, you're enjoying making it so much that you're not concerned with how it looks. You know, you're dancing like no one is watching.
Joke's on you. Someone's always watching me.
Oh, I hate that. It's the person in your attic.
It's my very own Spider-Man. Gosh, am I being incredibly insensitive by making that joke? No. We just talked about how she died. We think. We don't know. If I'm being an ass, listener, please.
No, I don't think.
Please know that I know, and I'm sorry. dance like nobody's watching. Someone's always watching me.
Yeah, what are we talking about? We're talking
God,
about Nano.
what the hell are we talking about?
We don't know, listener.
Okay, so listener, my plan is to continue
Your
on
plan.
writing
Your new plan.
this that I'm writing. That's my plan. I might slow down so I can feel better about the words that are actually happening, because I'm losing excitement on it because I'm not happy with how it reads. I think that might be what happened with the other one too. Is I was like, this is clunky and gross and they're boring. And so like I think I just need to accept that like I can do 1,000 words a day, but it's just it can't feel rushed. Does that make sense? Like I can't feel like I'm rushing to get the words down, or else I don't enjoy it. Like I don't like what I'm writing.
No, 100%. Sometimes that's where your process is at.
Yeah. And maybe it'll change in the future, but right now I think I just need to slow it down so I can feel better about what's actually happening.
I think Nano is also just kind of a lot better when you have no obligations or fewer obligations.
Yeah, fewer obligations would be amazing.
You know, and like you can really dedicate all the time and thought to it, but like when you don't have a lot of time to really stew on it, then yeah, I don't know.
And I think also like, yeah, some people are better geared towards it than others.
Oh, definitely.
Right? Like if I wasn't if my process wasn't so much like sitting and staring into space.
Thinking is important, you know?
I do that a lot.
But it's
like,
good.
Like, yeah, like thinking, I suppose, is what I do a lot. But like, yeah, I'll just like kind of like write a sentence and just stare for a while and then write a sentence more. And then something will pick up for a couple sentences and I have to sit and stare. And yeah. I don't know. I don't want to make excuses, and like I don't want to minimize the experience of Nano and the accomplishment it is. But at the same rate, like this is where I'm at on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I think this is a short episode, guys. Especially because I'm gonna cut 10 minutes out of it.
You're gonna take so much out of it.
I'm really sorry that we're... See, the thing is, I keep wanting to, like, you know, so every now and then, like, someone messages me on Instagram, oh, I love their book, it's wonderful, it's a lovely chat. And then I'm, like, so tempted to be like, hey, what do you think if, like, I did this, and with this character? What do you think about that?
And just, like, like, ask the group...
Like, take, like, the temperature of, like, how would we receive this? How would I put together a little survey? And it's like, no.
Actually, I've seen authors do that. Like, ask people, like, hey, what are the tropes you particularly like? What are the tropes you particularly don't like? And, like, stuff like that. And engineer in that direction. I've never seen anyone ask specific questions like that, though.
Yeah, because it feels like kind of unfair to that person then to like put that kind of weight of the series on it.
Well, and also like
it's also like very specific. It's like they're not really seeing the whole picture the way you're seeing it because you don't want to give the whole thing away, but you're like trying to decide on something.
Well, then also like the whole picture, give anything away. Also, just because it might work for that reader doesn't mean it actually works as a whole.
Yeah,
right?
For the story.
Yeah. Or for other readers. So I think really, like, you just gotta satisfy yourself.
Yeah. Which is hard.
It's so hard.
You know, we were talking about ids and writing from our ids last week, and I'm sitting here like, I think I ran out of ids.
I think I ran out of ids.
Like, do I just need to, like, repeat an id? Would that be bad?
No.
Would people notice?
I mean, they
but
might
at the same
notice.
Time, like,
But
Yeah,
they
what they
liked
notice.
it the first time.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I
Like,
feel
you can totally do that.
well. So I'm sitting here like struggling with the thought that I'm repeating myself in so many ways. Like I'm like, this if this character's undead, then that's too much like the first book. And then I'm like, but people liked the first book. They like the second book more. So I feel like I have to deviate further from the first book. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, what if, okay, so we're talking about Savin, right?
Yeah, Sovin.
Okay, Sovin, excuse me.
There's no good way to pronounce it. It's a made up name.
What if, like, Gwen's his sister?
What if Gwen's his sister? Things we cut from the podcast. I don't hate it. I don't. I love the
I don't hate it.
I've been toying with the thought of like she just kind of annoys him, and he's like the idea
Like
of,
kind
like,
of Michael Scott-ish.
No, like she was kind of if she absorbed people's powers just kind of by standing there, like she doesn't get to do anything with them, but she like makes you less powerful just by being there.
Okay.
That she would annoy him on that principle.
Okay.
And that she just kind of like, but she knows she's too important in the company, so she'd like call him a bitch to his face, and he'd be like, I don't have to take this from anyone else, you know?
Okay,
but I
really
the
like the energy.
I like the idea of her having that just because she's his sister.
Yes.
Oh,
I think that's so fun. I do too. I love our brainstorms.
Our brainstorms are so good, and so like I want to talk to you about all this stuff off the podcast because I have like all these other things that I didn't want to get into the specifics of.
Yeah, we just have to do a good job of like, because obviously we talk about our lives in a different way off the podcast too. And so like sometimes we get into those deep conversations, and like that's where the energy goes. Not that it's not good for us to have those conversations, but you see my point, right?
Yeah,
like, you see my point. I'm not being an ass, right? Because sometimes I don't know if I'm being an ass or not. So I'm
trying to think about what conversations we have off air that we don't have now, and I'm just thinking about the thing about the centipede on the wall.
Oh, that was so good. Okay, we should probably like tie ourselves up here, right?
Yeah, we're just we put tape on our mouths.
Stop exactly.
Talking. Stop saying things that listener
can't hear.
Yeah,
listener, we have secrets.
We have secrets.
Okay,
listener, I will tell you what it was about.
So creepy with the whispering.
I'm sorry.
I've never heard you whisper before. It made me so uncomfortable. Okay. Do you want to give them a piece of writing advice, but like in your normal voice and not whispering?
No.
Oh God, it's so scary.
Why did I have this Gollum whisper?
No,
precious.
Oh God. Okay, you don't want to give them any writing advice?
What's
they
the
have
writing
to seek
advice?
That on their own.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we weren't especially
helpful
this week. We waffled around a lot.
We did. At least it's a short episode. Okay, so my piece of writing advice. Read a book. Read a book for fun. Just go read a book for fun. Good. Do that.
I feel like I always do this thing where I just stop letting myself read books that are fun or that I'm going to enjoy. Because I'm like, no, can't get distracted. Gotta do the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. No fun.
Yeah. Well, and then also, I get so, like, I'm so critical that it's hard to find, like, a book that I'm just ingesting, right? Like,
yes.
This is just fun, right? Because there's, like, a fine line between this is fun and I can just enjoy it for what it is, and this is actually truly annoying. You know what I mean? And right now I'm reading a book that's just fun.
No, I
It's well
cannot hear
written.
you at all.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, you like disappeared for a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, listener, read a book.
Read a book, damn it.
Read it. What about you? You want to just tell them where you're at?
Give me a moment to think. Bleh. It's time to think about retirement, listener.
It's true.
You should be thinking about that.
We need to have some very serious changes in order for retirement to be available for us in the way it has been for other generations. So I've been saving for retirement since I was 19.
Wow.
I know. Yep. It's not a lot, but it's been a little bit.
I started this year.
Did you? Congratulations.
Yeah. I have a 401k now.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so lost with how it works. But also I think I'm gonna it was a realization this last week that I to put money aside from writing earnings into a different retirement account. I was like, oh, I have to do that. Okay. I don't know how to do that.
Roth IRA is what I use.
Ooh, I've heard those are good. I hear those are so smart to do, and I keep meaning to look up what they are.
Yeah, that's what I have done. It's very easy. You can set up automatic payments to it. Yeah. I start at $25 a month, and it's gone up since then, but yeah. Gosh, I've been saving for 16 years now?
Jeez.
Is that really how math works?
I guess.
Yeah, that's how math works.
If you've been doing it, the earlier you do it is supposed to be important, you could do it for 10 years right before you retire, and that would not net you as much as
also you have to then set aside much more aggressively.
Yes.
So
you can, if you start.
But we are not financial advisors, just a heads up. We should probably cut this too.
Oh, no. I do retirement. There's a really great podcast that I love called Bitches Get Riches. And
I need to start listening to that.
Their episodes are 20 minutes a pop. They are wonderful to listen to. Their theme song is just bomb. And, they're funny, and they break it down in a way that, really makes it easy to absorb and make you understand something that I think... Beyond their podcast, I just cannot recommend more their website, where they post blog articles, and they really break things down. They talk about, I think, kind of more personable things on their podcast. I think they really get into the more specifics about what a Roth is and all that. So yeah, just check their podcast out, but also check their website out.
Sweet. All right. Well, Kate, where are you at in the world?
Where am I at? Twitter's still crumbling.
Which I haven't looked at Mastodon yet.
Yes, I do need to show you that. But if you want to check me out at Mastodon, the server is Romancelandia, which spelled just like that. .club. And I'm by Kate Pryor there and pretty much everywhere else that you can be social, I guess. Instagram, TikTok. I did start using my Tumblr again, but it's my old Tumblr from when I was under a different pen name, so I'm hesitant to mix the pen names.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird.
But I also saw DJ Russo over there. She's giving out free copies of her book, I believe, Abduction Seduction, which is about aliens abduction.
It's polyamorous.
Yes. And she's really looking to hit a certain amount of reviews. So if you want to stroll over there for a free book, you're into aliens.
At Tumblr.
She's on Tumblr and all the other places. I'm sorry, I did not mean to just give like a random boost. I just remembered.
No, I'm all about it. I'm all about it for her specifically. But yeah, she's on Instagram as well, DJ Russo. I think she's DJ_RUSSO on Instagram. That's like off the top of my head, so I should probably double check that.
I think if you see her with the purple hair, that's her.
Mm-hmm. That's her. Abduction Seduction is her book too. Yes. I am Marty at Marty V author. Only one Marty, not like 5. Okay, so
5 Marty.
Anyway, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, and also she's DJ Russo _author. Okay, but I am at Marty V author on Instagram, TikTok, the Twitter as it is currently, but and then my newsletter you can sign up for at martyv.com. And Just Fake Married is in the world, and she's just flying, you know, she's just doing her little baby thing.
I'm so happy it's out.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, listener, thank you for making it this far. Honestly, thank you.
Because we didn't make it this far.
We're a mood. We're a mood tonight.
We're something.
Night. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.